from Radio City Music Hall in New York City.
The 1997 MTV Video Music Awards.
September 4th, 1997, MTV airs their yearly Video Music Awards. A lot of notable moments happen during this award show. Janet Jackson premieres a new music video. LL Cool J and director Mark Romanek are presented the Video Vanguard Award.
The cream of the crop, like to say the top 2% of music videos, to my mind have been the coolest filmmaking in the last 15 years.
Pat Smear announces he's leaving the Foo Fighters.
This was my last song with the band. I would like to introduce you to Franz Stahl, who will be taking over. And I wonder.
There's even a tribute to the death of Princess Diana during the ceremony.
MTV around the world will be donating a portion of the proceeds from tonight's event to the Princess Diana Memorial Fund.
But most importantly were the nominees for Best Music Video that year.
Best Video of the Year.
Beck.
This year's entries were really solid entries for the category. Beck's New Pollution up against No Doubt's Don't Speak. Jewel against 9 Inch Nails. All good music videos. But of course, only one had to be the winner.
And the winner is Jamiroquai!
Yeah, I can definitely say this is a good video. I stress no hyperbole or exaggeration when I say Virtual Insanity is one of the best music videos ever made. Introduced to the world by the London-based funk and acid jazz group Jamiroquai, this video on the surface is simple enough. The classic music video idea of one man dancing in a room, with the man in question being the group's lead singer, J.K. But with the gimmick it has, it becomes one of the most innovative music videos ever released. It's because of that, the group won 4 Moon Men out of 10 nominations that ceremony. But more importantly, this video has been cited as the reason the album it was released on was a commercial success.
MD and MD, 5 MD and MD.
The second single off their third album, Virtual Insanity, has everything going for it. Their third album, Traveling Without Moving, peaked at number 24 on the Billboard 200, their highest charting album in the country.
Good disc!
3 of their singles cracked the UK singles charts as well, including Virtual Insanity.
Wow!
Altogether, this album was a monster success, selling over 8 million copies. This was a huge achievement for the band, as the album holds the Guinness World Record for the best-selling funk album in history. The success of this album and the future of Jamiroquai's later works can all be attributed to this one music video. It's that powerful. Even over 25 years later, the video has continued to garner praise, popping up on best of lists, especially on ones involving the 90s. As well, it has achieved the most loving of tributes by way of parodies.
Could you bring me my coffee, Jamiroquai?
Dancing, walking, rearranging furniture.
Okay. Not, that's not where the coffee is.
This is Chris Rock getting ready to host this year's MTV Video Music Awards!
I let the bird out of the cage.
There's even a fan game made in 2015 based on the music video, where you avoid sofas and try to get a high score. Try to beat mine. You probably could. With all that being said, for today's history lesson, we are covering the nooks and crannies of how they were able to pull off an accomplishment like this video. No doubt about it, it is once again music video time, and in this video, we are covering Jamiroquai and Virtual Insanity. Oh, Traveling Without Moving. How appropriate.
Like enormous festival crowds? Was that totally different?
The first... God, please.
When Traveling Without Moving was being recorded, Virtual Insanity was the last to be recorded. However, it was the first song that was composed. It just wasn't originally made for the album. Lyrically, J.K. was inspired by a walk in Sendai, Japan. According to J.K., he and band member Wallace Buchanan walked the streets in the middle of a wintry night. For half a mile, they walked without seeing anyone. From the liner notes in the 20th anniversary reissue of the album, we finally saw an old lady and asked her where everyone was, and she pointed to these stairs that led down to this whole underground city. It was insane. A proper underground city with all the color and noise you get in Japanese streets. It was a mad, mad world down there, which sowed the seed of the chorus. We We weren't specifically writing the album at the time, so once we added the verse and piano, we just had a rough demo and put it on the shelf. Virtual Insanity was the first thing written and the last thing recorded for the album. The music video was directed by Jonathan Glazer. In terms of music videos, at the time he had only directed 3. Did a video for Massive Attack, Blur, and Radiohead. Specifically, the video for Street Spirit, Fade Out by Radiohead was described by Glazer as his turning point in his career. And if your follow-up to Street Spirit is Virtual Insanity, I definitely agree. Unlike a good amount of Jamiroquai's videos, this video has dancing in it. In fact, JK really likes to dance. Would definitely say he is good at it. But then you combined it with the most famous aspect of the video, which is basically its crux. It appears the floor is moving around, moving everything inside it, which includes having Kay to dance around furniture. That's not nature's way. Well, that's what they said yesterday. There's also one shot of the other members of Jamiroquai in a narrow corridor being blown back by wind, among other very interesting moments. But what makes this all appear impressive is that it was shot to appear to be done in one take. This is done by tilting the camera up and down to hide any instances of cuts. And it's executed so well that you can't see these transitions unless you are really looking for it. Ever since the video's release, fans have asked the director how they managed to pull it off.
Do you know how many times I've been asked that question?
And there have been some theories about how they did it. One I've seen was that the video was shot on a conveyor belt or treadmill. Another I've seen was that it was done with computer graphics or green screening.
This right here is my favorite thing ever in the history of forever.
For the conveyor belt theory, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Conveyors are designed to move material or products to improve efficiency and throughput.
A conveyor belt goes one way to travel product down the line.
Our next performers have taken the art of keeping dance floor moving to a whole new level. Please welcome tonight's most nominated band, Jamiroquai.
Even when Jamiroquai performed the song during the 1997 Video Music Awards, they used 2 treadmills, one going forward and one going backwards. In the music video, it shows shots of them moving in both the X and Y axis, along with them showing clear turns of the furniture. Conveyor belts don't work that way. Okay, maybe now they do, but not in 1996. As for the use of green screening, they did that for the video. When the camera tilts up and down, you see things like bugs and a bird show up. These were separate shots that were composited into the video. We'll get back to these aspects in a bit, but how they got to make the floors moving is a bit more simple. A bit.
I had a stupid idea of exactly the same idea, but basically the set was going to be built on hydraulics. Everything in the set was going to be able to move independently of everything else. The production designer came back with an estimate figure for the build of that of like £280,000, which is like ridiculous.
Instead of the floor moving, rather it's the walls themselves that are moving.
The guys on the production team, and he said, why don't we just not move the floor? Why don't we just like move the thing?
He phoned me up about 1 in the morning. I'm going to lock off a camera, and we're gonna move a room around. And I was like, right, okay.
Basically, it was shot in a movable set in a large room. And throughout, they were moving the set with one of the 4 cardinal directions being called out while also telling them how fast they have to do so.
Rumble, 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 rumble. East, quickly. West, slowly. Northwest, stop at south. And I was like, what's going on here?
That sounds rather grueling. But was it worth it?
Jamiroquai!
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't find behind the scenes footage of the set or them moving it around, but I did find the next best thing.
¡Tan escándalo! ¿Escándalo?
Possibly inspired by Virtual Insanity, this beer ad looks to have been done using the same techniques the production crew did in the music video back in 1996. Though it does appear to have some differences, notably just moving in one set direction. I would think this is due to there being more than one person being on this set.
Estrella Galicia, escandalosamente buena.
It is rather disappointing that we don't have much to work with when it comes to actual behind-the-scenes footage, besides a 21-second clip. That being said, this ended up being a disorienting experience for JK, as he himself felt a bit dizzy in the experience. Considering the inability to know your directions in this situation, that would make sense.
I still get asked this just time and time again, and it's just how it's made. It's the room that's moving, not the floor. And then, of course,
I still don't get it. And this is what's amazing about this idea. I still can't get my head around it.
But as great as the music video is for its technical achievements, I couldn't help but consider that there might be an underlying message to it.
Yeah, have you heard the news tonight?
Now, if you're not aware of the work of Jamiroquai and their lead singer, their lyrics usually touch upon topics such as environmental awareness. Heck, their first album is called Emergency on Planet Earth. Their first music video, When You Gonna Learn, was banned from MTV for its imagery. Imagery that includes whales and dolphins being hunted in animal experimentations. I can't show this, but take my word for it, it's there. Their songs are as subtle as a baseball bat to the face. Uh-oh. And Virtual Insanity is no different. When interviewed about the song in 1997, JK mentioned being troubled about the encroachment of technology. It's gotten to the point where they can replicate and simulate life. Shouldn't that rattle us? The relationship between humans and their technology is extremely important, it seems to me. Especially with the cloning thing and all. Our song is just saying, wait a minute, look at this, understand what it means. Basically, the song is about the over-reliance of technology and the replication and simulation of life. With that in mind, you can see the music video as a type of simulation, replicating itself in different ways. But nothing actually matches up to reality. Furniture doesn't move around. Nor do floors or walls, really. And there is a sinister tone to the video, with bugs and a crow flying towards the camera. It's possible these are symbolic. Bugs being computer bugs in technology that causes errors, or just the fact that bugs are symbolic to pestilence. A crow, meanwhile, could be considered symbolism of death or bad things to come. But especially at the end, where out of nowhere, blood comes out of the walls. A lot of blood comes out of the walls. Is that another way to symbolize death?
Usually the blood gets off at the second floor.
Going back to JK's quote in the album we issue, it might explain how the music video has the color scheme as it does. Could make the argument that its use of muted colors was to give off the experience JK had that one winter night in Japan. Actually, it does explain why he's wearing winter clothing too. But that muted tone does not match up with how things look in nature. The walls and floor just have that color of things being so artificial. When writing about this music video, I couldn't help but think of an appropriate video to compare it to. Talking Heads' Once in a Lifetime is in more than one ways a benchmark for music videos. And I think there's a decent amount of similarities between the two. The way David Byrne dances is hypnotic and memorable. Virtual Insanity is the same as well. They both are snazzy dressers. In my first session of music video time, when I covered Once in a Lifetime, I talked about how there was an existential message to the song and its accompanying promotional. And I would say they both use dancing as a method to get their point across. Byrne did it through way of interpretive dance. JK, meanwhile, I would say used dancing, besides liking to dance a lot, as a way to get our attention. Put on a show, but also have something underlying behind it. But I'm not exactly sure if the message of the song was received due to how, arguably, the music video can be engaging. Messages being overlooked does tend to happen in the realm of films and books, let alone in the field of music. Though other times, people will look at something else an act does under the microscope. Such was the case with their follow-up to Virtual Insanity, Cosmic Girl. Its music video faced criticism for the use of sports cars as its basis, one of which was a blue Lamborghini JK himself owned.
It's got a 5.7 litre V12 Lamborghini Diablo Special Edition 30th Lightweight Anniversary sitting in the garage, and it's in lurid purple. You generally want to get it out there.
You could easily chastise them for making a video that requires a lot of gas guzzling to be made. Not to mention, they wrecked Kay's car while shooting the video.
My manager comes up. You know your Lamborghini was off to be put on the truck to go to Spain. He said, well, the guy moving it's crashed it. You're one of 3 ever made Lamborghini.
That production was an absolute mess.
Got out the jet. My manager was there. And everybody looked ashen-faced. Why are you all so ashen-faced? I said, we don't know how to tell you this, but they've smashed the second Lamborghini. So insane.
But hypocrisy aside, the group raises an interesting critique about the dependency of technology, something that is relevant even now. With the rise of things like the metaverse or the increase of online gaming, we are closer to having technology be our livelihoods than they were in 1996. And is that a bad thing? Well, I wouldn't say so completely, but I do think we need to be more conscious in life, or else we really would be living in the same world as this video. At the end of the day, Jamiroquai just ended up making one of the greatest music videos ever. It's so easy to get enthralled by the dancing. As well, it's just well shot, well choreographed, edited. It's just one of the most iconic music videos of the 1990s. And this shot right here absolutely solidifies what makes this video awesome. And with this music video turning Jamiroquai into a runaway success, we wouldn't have gotten one of the most important moments in cinematic history. You know I had to bring up Napoleon Dynamite somewhere. So are we living in virtual insanity? I'll just say, thanks for your time.
Now this virtual insanity that we are living in, I mean, I think it's gotta change, yeah.
Dancing, walking, rearranging furniture. Babs is shopping. I let the bird out of the cage.